very, very important job because pretty easy to have some nasty knee injuries or some any other types of injuries from a very quick fall if you're not released in time. So the release person has a very important job in the trick water ski event. All right, so Nate Pigdon, good-looking hand pass and quite a few points on the second pass. Would have really liked that toe wrap in. That's 200, and then if he had have done that, would have been wrapping out, of course, for another at least 200, unless he did follow it with a toe Waco even for bigger points. So he's dropped a couple of points there on the toe pass, but hopefully when we add the two together, the toe and hand pass will end up with a good score for Nate Pigdon. So we're waiting now on Callum O'Connor from Queensland, Australia. Competitor number 2 of 11 in this under-17 boys trick round 1.
There's some incredible tricking to come. If you look down that running order, by the end of it, we're going to be getting to the very best in the world. But starting off, we've got some young up-and-coming challengers out of Australia and New Zealand. And first up after Nate Pigdon will be the Queenslander, Callum O'Connor, who looks to be coming in for his handle pass.
He sets in a back position, so he opens with a back to front flip, cases the wake a little bit, but doesn't cause him a problem. The 2 basic flips now. Front flip, very physical trick, but nice and neat and tidy. And there's a reverse, huge air, and unfortunately just lands and can't quite handle the landing on that second front flip. But some big air there, Curtis, on those front flips from Callum O'Connor.
Incredible stuff. I don't know if he's got springs for legs or if he's just not used to the ski nautique wake, because he was flying out there. That was huge air. And wasn't expecting to see a front flip this early in proceedings, but it was a beautiful front flip from Callum, and he tried to follow it up with the reverse front flip, which you don't tend to see a lot of, and he got a little bit off axis. We'll see it on the replay on the big screen across the river for those of you following along.
But that front flip, it was huge. He landed right out into the flats, and then he backed it up. I think the reverse flipper, we'll have a look when we go to, if we do see the replay. I think the second flip was even bigger than the first. It was absolutely huge.
Incredible stuff there from the young Queenslander.
The exuberance of youth. He probably didn't need to probably hedge quite as hard. He probably could have backed it off a little bit and still would have delivered a beautiful looking front flip anyway. But, well, the old springs for legs, it's a definite possibility. We're just looking at some nautique footage, though, the big G23 I was talking about before on the screen, and, of course, the ski nautique. Quite amazing, just the size of those G23, how high they are. They're actually, well, the ski nautique, you know, if you look at the ski nautique, the 20-foot ski boat, it looks like a regular, you know, your normal sort of tournament type ski boat. You see it, it's interesting that I think the G23 is 3.5 times the weight of the ski nautique, such as the size of that big wakeboard boat. And I forget how much weight you can put in it to weight it up, but no wonder the weight gets so big. You can put tons of weight in a boat that's already weighs tons. It absolutely ends up it's sort of like a ship on water towing someone, the big G23. But we'll be seeing that boat this afternoon at 5:45. But in the meantime, we have tricks followed by slalom, followed by jump in the under-17 first round of Junior MOOMBA. It's a bit of a disappointment there for Callum, I guess. He probably was only around, would you think, Curtis, 10 to 12 seconds into that first pass. He would have had plenty of tricks to come. Maybe should, but look at what flips he was doing. He probably had ski lines to come.
Yeah, look, what did he get? 4 flips under his belt, so he felt on his 5th. He looked to me like somebody who was going to do the full allotment of 6 flips. Potentially would have had some time for some things at the end. So he's missed out on a bit. Geez, it's going to be exciting next few skiers because they're all big flippers. And it'll probably be the first skiers who could back it up with a big toe run that sort of emerged the top of the field. Callum O'Connor coming in rope on toe. Looks to be fairly tidy out there, just sort of flicking that ski around as the Queenslander. And he's gotten unstuck there on a pretty basic trick. That's surprising because he started quite strong there on toe, and a little bit like Nate Pigdon, just hasn't really backed up a spectacular hand pass with the toe tricks he needed.
No. Rushing towards the end. Not too many high point scorers. So obviously his strength is in his hand pass. There, as we saw on replay. Toe pass. So Pigdon has a score of 4,170, and Callum O'Connor, well, we'll just wait till I think we've got a score which would be his first pass has been posted, so we'll just wait until we get his second pass is added to the first, and we'll have a score for Callum O'Connor. But in the meantime, Nate Pigdon, 4,170 points.
Yeah, of course, bit at play here. The high tide was at about 10 to 8 this morning, and it is starting to go out a little bit, so there's a little bit of a current as the water heads out to Port Phillip Bay. And of course, the other thing that some of these skiers may not be as used to is the water is sort of an interesting mixture of salt and fresh water, brackish water we'd call it, which can be a little bit slipperier than fresh water that a lot of these skiers are used to training on.
Yeah, because often the skiers, probably more so in slalom, can feel a little bit of different. The water, the saltier water is a little bit more buoyant than, or maybe feels a bit faster than fresh water. And of course, the different temperatures of water. I guess if you're coming out of winter and the water's about 15 degrees, it's going to feel a whole lot different than midsummer in Florida when it's 30 degrees, and just things that you can adapt to pretty quickly, but they just take a little bit of adaptation to get the feel of everything. That's why often, which we don't have the luxury of here, but often say at a World Championships or a Nationals, you'll have course familiarisation, and often a new side, it takes a couple of sets to really feel at home. So there's definitely something to be said for getting used to the various water conditions on different sites.
Absolutely, and obviously we're at 8:30 a.m. on a Thursday morning, so we don't have the crowds we're going to have later in the week, but there is a fair number of people around. Of course, a lot of water ski fans have made their way down. There's, we've got our morning commute traffic. We got people running for pleasure out there, and it is probably a little bit loud, a little bit more going on than just about any water ski lake in the world, even here early on Thursday morning. And there's sort of, you come under that Swan Street Bridge, there's a little bit of a buzz around, even here this early in the tournament. It's a little bit different for the skiers. We're moving on to Kiwi, the first Kiwi competitor of this Junior MOOMBA Masters, young Sammy McKenzie, out of the lower part of the North Island of New Zealand, out of Otaki. And he's another very strong skier, opting to start rope on toe. He's probably the strongest toe tricker we've seen so far in this men's field, showing his class out there as he moves through some big toe wake back-to-backs and just making his way through this pass. Fairly controlled as he wraps in and out of the line. Beautiful toe 360 there from the Kiwi. He goes outside the wake. A little stumble there on toe wake go as he jumps over the rope. Toe line back is good. Stand-up pass there. Definitely the best toe pass we've seen so far in this boys' trick event.
Yeah, looking good there too. Those, as you mentioned, those toe 360s, the surface toe 360s look very smooth and controlled. It opens with a toe 5, which is seeing the replay now on the screen. Looks like a pretty good build for a trick skier as well. Not sure of his age, but you would probably know that, Curtis. But he looks reasonably still a young fellow, I would think, and good build for trick skiing. But that certainly doesn't mean that he can't also be accomplished in slalom and jump. So good-looking stuff there from young Sam McKenzie from New Zealand, competitor number 3 in this under-17 boys trick first round.
Yeah, good start. Seems pretty handy on hands as well. I don't know if we're going to quite see the explosive tricking we saw from Callum O'Connor just a few moments ago. I don't think we'll be seeing front flip and reverse, but he's a tidy accumulator of points is the young Kiwi, just 15 years of age, so sort of first year up out of junior boys.
Yeah, so you're predicting we're not going to see a front flip where he nearly lands on the bank or anything like that?
No, he'll keep things a little more tame, but he is very good. He's got a lot of high-scoring tricks. He's sort of regularly starting to trick up plus 5,000 points, and he started very strong, rope on toe.
We might have a final score for Callum O'Connor, do we, at 32.30, 3,230. So Nate Pigdon, 4,170. And see what Sam McKenzie can deliver on pass number 2. Be back from the city end very shortly for his hand pass.
It's tough for some of these earlier seeds. They kind of have to go big. You know, the top seeds, they have the luxury perhaps of just starting a little bit easier out there, making sure they get a solid defendable score. But if you're Sam McKenzie and you're looking at some of the rock stars still to come in this field, I think you have to go for your A-runs right out of the gate. He's coming in now for his handle pass, just starting here with some big spins, some wake 540s. Looks to be pretty tight. He jumps over the rope, some ski line tricks, and he cuts out now for the first of his flips. Beautiful back flip and the reverse. This is a good run here from the Kiwi. It flips to the back. He cases the wake, comes up short on that back landing. Disappointing finish to what was otherwise a fantastic trick performance from the Kiwi.
Yeah, because if he had have landed that and, of course, scored the points for that, I think there was more to come. So he's dropped a few points there, unfortunately. Just looking at the replay there, that ski line, good points there, and the fives were nice and neat and tidy. And now that flip now, the reverse flip, and then the one that unfortunately brought him undone, and just landing on the top of that wake there in that back position, and unfortunately couldn't ride it out. So good stuff though from Sam McKenzie from New Zealand.
Yeah, we might need to get you a higher chair, Rob. I don't know why they stitched you up and gave you the short one.
Yeah, well, I thought I had a long body and short legs, but obviously it must be the other way around. Maybe I got a short body and short legs.
Well, moving right along, of course, the first 5 skiers in this field have a real Anzac flavour before we start to go further afield. But it will, of course, be young Jacob Saddington next up. I think a little bit like the first couple Aussies we saw, we're going to see some real explosive tricks on his hand pass. Of course, for the Victorian water ski fans, of course, there'll be many of them on site. Jacob Saddington is the first Victorian in this field. Be good to have the local boy post a big score as he comes in, of course, under the Swan Street Bridge, getting ready for the first of his 2 20-second passes. Out of Bridgewater there.
Yeah, I guess another one of our Australian sites that over the years or over the decades has produced many a good skier has Bridgewater. So coming to mind is Curtis and Emma Shears, and I think Glenn Thurlow from back in the day, and first man to ever jump over 200 feet. Did it here in the world, that is, but did it right here at the MOOMBA Masters. So some great skiers, and great to see the Bridgewater Ski Club still seeming to be flourishing. So Jacob Saddington now coming onto the course, and just looking at, he's going to start with a hand pass. Started with a ski line there, so a good trick to open with. A couple of wake backs now. Sets himself up a wake O now into flips. Starting to go more high point tricks is Jacob. Piles on some points there now in a back position, so a back to front flip you would expect, because he's done the two basic back flips. Flip with a back landing now, pops to the front, couple of quick side slides to add in a few extra points at the end of the 20 seconds, and not a bad opening hand pass there for Jacob Saddington.
Yeah, good work from him. Probably the highest scoring hand pass we've seen from the boys. didn't have the huge tricks we saw from some of the others, but he really got through a full stand-up pass and a lot of points there throughout it. So really good work from Jacob Saddington. And I think if he can back this up with a solid enough toe pass, he could sneak his way into the lead.
Yeah, Curtis, even though some of those wake tricks were, let's call it like fairly standard, he's done 4 flips. He had a ski line in there, so it's you know, he'll post a reasonable score on that hand pass.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's moved quickly through it, of course. We saw some of the other skiers throw some really big tricks, and the problem is they only had 3 or 4 of them before they fell. So standing up the full 20 seconds, that is crucial. It's the name of the game in trick skiing.
We're still waiting on a score for Sam McKenzie, a final score. We have something. No, we don't have anything yet, so just waiting on a score for Sam McKenzie. And then, of course, Jacob Saddington is our skier who's on the water. He's down at the city end, and we'll be back for pass number 2 very shortly. Because we talked about Nautique, one of our great sponsors, and actually I just saw on the screen the local distributor for Nautique Ski Force in Melbourne. They're celebrating 15 years of being the distributor for Victoria for Nautique, so got 100 years for Nautique. Actually, we've got a few milestones this year. We've got 100 years of boat building for Nautique. I think 25 years they've been the official towboat for MOOMBA Masters, and so the milestones just keep on coming as we see Jacob Saddington coming back from the city end. Should be and will be his rope on toe pass. Yep,
he has a real opportunity to take the lead. Of course, held right now by, we think, the Kiwi, Samuel McKenzie. But this is a solid enough toe pass here from the Aussie. The Victorian looking to stamp his mark on this boys' trick field, wrapping in and out of the line. A little bit of a hitch there on the way out as he grabs the rope, goes outside the wake. Has he got 1 or 2 big tricks to finish? Gets tangled up in the rope there on the toe line back, toe step back trick. And it'll be a tight call to see who comes out on top between him and the Kiwi, Samuel McKenzie. Still, though, a lot of skiers to come in this boys' trick first round.
Yeah, well, that toe 360 that you commented on, it was kind of interesting. Is the rope leg kind of went out, like kind of stretched out, but he may not have split the trick, so he's probably may well get points for it, but it just looked a little ungainly there for a moment, but if he's done it in one motion, he'll still get the points for it. And as we just saw on the screen there, unfortunately, coming unstuck on the toe line back.
Yeah, he's done a lot of tricks in that pass, but I think the judges are going to go through some of those ones with a fine-tooth comb. Of course, like you said earlier, Rob, we've got a panel of 5 of the best trick judges in the world, and they are watching on the big screen the replay from the boat. And they will go through, they'll note down the tricks each skier has done and whether or not they've done them in accordance with the rules. And then at the end, we add up all the points, and that's where we get our scores from.
Yeah, if you're watching on our webcast, a big hello and a big welcome to Melbourne and welcome to the MOOMBA Masters. Of course, mentioning Melbourne, a big thank you to the City of Melbourne and their cooperation in the running of the MOOMBA Masters for 2025. But in North America, where there's a lot of water skiing enthusiasts, it's a great time of the day. I think it's Wednesday afternoon rolling into the evening, so a great time to be watching the webcast. And if you are, a big hello and welcome. Hope you enjoy it over the next 5 days. We're in under 17 boys tricks round 1 Thursday morning Melbourne time, and we're about to move to Sam Bainbridge from New Zealand. We just saw Jacob Saddington, Australia, finishing his toe pass and bringing scores to you as they come to hand. And have a new leader in Sam McKenzie from New Zealand with a score of 4,380 points.
Yeah, and this is going to be exciting, this next skier, Rob, because probably uniquely in this boys' trick field, we will not see any toe tricks from Sam Bainbridge, the young man out of Rangiora near Christchurch, the Canterbury region of New Zealand. He will be performing 2 handle passes. He's got some real chops when it comes to flips, ski lines, big spins as he comes in now for the first of his flips. Starting with the full twisting Mo back to back, then the back flip to the front. This is a solid enough opening pass here from the Kiwi. He's flipping up a storm is the young man from the South Island. One or two more. Just goes down there on that last flip. Unfortunate, it was such a good run up until that point.
Yeah, it was. It's a shame to see him fall when he fell. It's interesting that if he doesn't do a toe pass, which some of these guys, they focus so much on the hand passes, and I guess being their ages and their other activities they might engage in, such as trampolining or gymnastics or whatever, to complement their tricking. Probably it's a natural thing to the hand passes. Comes a little more naturally than the toe pass. So if he's doing two hand passes, really, I haven't seen him seen his run, but he's going to need some ski lines to if he's going to get some decent points running two hand passes.
Yeah, well, look, he's a bit of a working class hero on this field. He's doing a building apprenticeship right now. I'm sure he had to save up long and hard to make his flight over the ditch here to Melbourne.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to one of our sponsors, DeWalt, and get him
a
deal on some guaranteed tough tools. I would think if he's an apprentice, I'm sure DeWalt loves to support the young builders right throughout the world. Of course, they're an international company based or formed or from the USA, and of course we see them around the world, and great to see DeWalt Guaranteed Tough Tools as a sponsor.
On a job site, most places without DeWalt tools, they wouldn't accept any inferior tool brands.
No, you wouldn't be allowed to.
So getting ready for the second of Sam Bainbridge's two passes. Like I said, he's a hand trick specialist. We won't be seeing any toe tricks from him. He sort of used up all his flips. He fell on the last of his 6. So we're going to expect a lot of ski lines, a lot of big twisting sort of wake 540s on pass number 2.
Yeah, I suppose if we turn up without DeWalt tools, what's this imposter doing on the job with his, I won't name any other brands, his whatever it is thing, this cheap thing that he got from some backyard hardware store. Hey, Murray.
It's a beautiful ski nautique towboat coming into course now for the second of Sammy Bainbridge's two 20-second passes. Should be a good one, Rob.
Yeah, well, needs to be. Oh, 5 to the back, just bobbled a bit on the landing, but quickly got it back together. A couple of wake backbacks there, now to the front. Now the ski lines I was talking about, there's a ski line back. Have we got anything else? A flip with a back landing. Pops to the front now, sets himself. There's the reverse and lands and gets a little twisted up there and unfortunately falling on that reverse flip with the back landing. Bad luck there.
Interesting strategy there from Sam Bainbridge, because he's fallen on that reverse back landing on pass 1 and he's decided to repeat the 2 back landings, thinking that would be his best chance at points here on pass 2, and it hasn't come off. So pass 2 is not going to end up with a whole lot of points in it, unfortunately, for the Kiwi.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty difficult if when you get down, you've done your first 20-second pass, you're down at the city end, you're waiting in the water, think, okay, how do I maximise my pass? I'm going to have to change a few things. I'm going to have to alter what I've practiced and rehearsed coming into the event. So making those switches and changes, definitely a difficult thing to do on the run, as he's done, but looking to maximise his points and unfortunately just falling on something that's worth, well, probably 650, I think, that flip with a back landing.
Yeah,
or
750.
750 now.
Big points,
it is, 750. So big points he's dropped there. So to put it in perspective, I think a standard flip's 500, so 750. I think a front flip's 800. So you're really, every time you're banging out those flips in quick succession, you're really piling on some big points. Okay, well, in what has been a spectacular Anzac-themed start to the boys' trick event, we now move further abroad, all the way up to the United States of America. I believe out of Georgia in the southeast of the United States. It will be BJ Bickley, and we're going to just lift the intensity level a bit here. This young man, he's a pretty strong trick skier. Very excited to see him in the jump event, probably his favorite event later on this evening, but he has got a personal best in tricks up around 7,000 points, so we're going to start to see some pretty high-level trick skiing from this young man.
Yeah, we're just working on our pronunciation early on in the week, of course. It's going to get harder as the week goes on. We get more of an international flavour. It's been good with the Aussies and Kiwis early morning for us to warm up.
Yeah, we saw a pretty good example of my amateurism earlier when I pressed the mic button instead of the cough button, and I've already coughed, and then I've spoken, and I've got to ease my way into. You've got to start with Amateur Night in Dixieland and sort of move into something professional by the weekend. So BG Bickley.
Yep, like the great Aussie disco band. I don't know if his parents were fans. BG on the water and opening up with some big flips there as the American. He's getting a little low. He's casing the wake. He needs to find a better rhythm out there. Seems to have recovered well as he moves through. More and more flips, full twisting to the back. Lands the reverse back landing. This is a great run here from the American. He throws himself over the line. Some big twisting 540s. Drops the handle on that wake 5 front. Probably just about the last trick in his run, though.
Yeah, interesting looking ski line too. That ski line at the back, does he kind of do it like an inverse off the wake? Was I seeing things a little bit there? Interesting. Oh, here we're going to replay now. So the back-to-back mode there, back to front flip, cases the wake a fraction, gets it over without a problem. The two back flips there. Flip with a back landing.
Lands the reverse back landing.
There's
this
the
is a
reverse.
great run here from the American. He throws himself over the line.
Ski line and drops the handle on the 5. But plenty of points there, though, on that hand pass. If he can back it up with a good toe pass, we're going to see a good score there from BG Bickley.
Yep, like the great Aussie disc. Yep, strong start from the American. 17 years of age out of Ogburn Lake. In the eastern side.
Unless the scores get tweaked, a pretty interesting couple of scores through Jacob Saddington and Sam Bainbridge. Both bang on 3,770 points. So they're a tie, and coincidentally on the exact same score. Yeah, BG Bickley, I've got to say, hoping to stay alive on the staying alive out there. Yeah. And got to be some pretty sick jokes we can come up with tying into the BG theme, you know.
A little more your era than mine, Rob.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. You'd hate to hit any islands in the stream or anything like that, but they did write that one. Might have to leave that one alone, I think, after that. So, BG Bickley, competitor number 6. We always have an international field or a feel here at MOOMBA Masters. And of course, we have guys this morning from New Zealand, USA, Argentina, of course, Australia, Chile and the USA. So very much the international field here in the under-17 boys here at MOOMBA Masters. Tricks round 1. Moving into slalom after tricks with the girls' slalom. Still the conditions look pretty favourable. Look at the flags, not too much wind to speak of. So... personally, I'd like it to be a few degrees warmer, but a pleasant morning in Melbourne on the Yarra nonetheless. The place to be in the world of water skiing, without a doubt, is the Yarra River this morning. The toe pass now, toe back to back reverse. Now the toe 5 wrapping in. Moving along pretty quickly there. In trouble there on that second toe 360. Now into the toe line back. Just quick now, sets in the back position, a couple of toe slides there at the end. Lost him behind a flag for a moment there. I wasn't sure what he was going to do next, but he had a bit of a bobble, which would have messed a bit of his score up in late in that second pass, but pretty good score, though, we should see from BG Bickley.
Yeah, I think he's well and truly taken the lead with those 2 passes. Not quite perfect on either one. He, of course, fell towards the end of his handle pass, and he did have this bobble here, but he recovered really well, you'd have to say. Didn't lose much time at all. You know, probably just 1 or 2 tricks. He had to improvise a bit, but he's got a good head for improv, does the young man. And I think well and truly into the lead in this boys' trick event.
Yeah, because I think at the moment, might have to double check, but I think the highest score could be Sam McKenzie with 43.80.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yep, so BG Bickley, we've got a score posted for him, which is probably his first pass score, so we need to throw another one on the top, and his second
He's not
pass,
going to need much more on toes, though, is he?
No, he doesn't need much more on toes. I'm sure it's got. So I'm with you there. I think new leader will be BG Bickley, but still in this seeded order, there's some quality still to come. And I think that BG Bickley's score of I'll just throw it out there. Let's say hypothetically, tricks around 5,000. I think we're going to see some higher scores than 5,000 points here today.
Absolutely. We're getting into some of the real rock stars now. The final 5 competitors in this boys trick event, and we go now to Argentina. Francisco Georges will be next. His older brother Tobias picked up a trio of medals. He had a decent tournament at the University World Water Ski Champs, of course pulled exclusively by the Ski Nautique last week over in Auckland, New Zealand. And now it's Francisco on the water, looking to continue to add to the great collection of trophies and accolades in the Georges family pool room. Of course, one of the great features of these boats, particularly if you're getting sick of listening to commentary, is the stereo systems they have, and of course supplied by Roswell Marine, one of the highest quality marine stereo setups on the market. Right now we've got Francisco Georges coming in to pass rope on toe.
Couple of toe wake back-to-backs. Now the toe 5 to the front. Oh, he got himself in a bit of a drama there. Settles himself now down with a toe wrapping in the toe wake 360 toe line back. Toe line back-to-back now. Has he got a reverse? No, he doesn't. He just does a toe wake back there and settles himself down towards the end of that toe pass. Well, a bit of heart-in-the-mouth stuff there, Curtis. He was probably lucky that he didn't fall, and it just shows the skill of Francisco Georges to stand up. To stay standing up during those issues that he had in that toe pass.
Yeah, look, his campaign almost ended on Act 1, didn't it? Coming in first pass, started off well enough, and he just was moving a lot, traveling a lot into these toe 540s, and he's done so well not to fall off here, a couple times, in fact, and in the end, pretty good toe pass from him.
Toe line back to back now. Has he got a reverse? No, he doesn't. Yeah, well, I mean, assuming he might get scrubbed on like one trick, he kept it moving, and he might have had another trick that he wasn't able to perform, but he kept it rolling. And in terms of credit for tricks, he might lose one trick, but it's pretty much hasn't cost him much at all. But to me, he nearly fell off, and he was pretty lucky to stay standing, but he did, and he stood up the 22nd rope on toe pass, and now we're going to see what he can do in hands, and I would imagine it's going to be quite a bit, so he's got a big chance of moving his way into the lead in this event. We're still waiting on a score for BG Bickley to come through, and Francisco Georges from Argentina, our competitor currently on the water.
I'm sure we'll talk about it more as the event goes on, particularly as we get into the open men's tricks. But Francisco, another one of those Latin American skiers that is showing real promise on the water. And you'd have to say in the last 5 to 10 years, the sort of axis of world trick skiing has moved somewhat from Europe, where historically a lot of the world's best trick skiers that come from, to that Latin American region. Of course, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, all producing incredibly talented trick skiers, and Francisco Georges, one of the young rising stars of that great stable of trick skiers, coming in now for his handle pass. Expect to see some big flips here from the Argentinian. Starts off well with the full twisting, back-to-back flip, the mobe, and its reverse. This is good tricking here from Francisco. Into some regular back flips now. He's got a couple more flips. He goes the full twist to the back, finishes with a back to front. His 6 flips are done. It's a good start here. He's got a couple of ski lines. He's throwing his body over the line. It's like hopscotch in the schoolyard, and a great stand-up hand pass there. And I think, once again, we're going to have a new leader.
And good high point ski lines there, and the finish, because often at skiers around this level or a little lower, you might see a 5 and then a ski line back, but we saw ski line back to back. Ski line front to front 360 and a ski line front to back, the ski line 180 or ski line to the back. So 3 ski lines at the end, plenty of points there. So great run there from Francisco Georges. With what we were estimating BG Bickley to score, I think Francisco might have moved himself into the lead, but we're just waiting on official scores to come through. And of course, when they do, we'll bring them straight to you, but a bit of a delay on BG Bickley's score to come through. And
yeah, unfortunately, once the scores start getting up in sort of 5, 6, 7,000 range, I just simply don't have enough fingers to count that high. So we'll let the judges with the computers tabulate them for us. Okay.
And of course, maybe a couple of the wobbles and bobbles that 1 or 2 judges might have to review on video and have a second look just to before the official scores are posted.
Pretty excited for this next skier, Rob, because the last Aussie in this boys trick field, but a real exciting skier to watch on the water. He's got talents and spades, this young man. I think he's been flipping since he was about 7 or 8 years of age and really shows it out there on the water. So super excited. Next on the water out of Western Australia will be Fletcher Green, young Fletch. Australia's great hope in this boys trick event. Yes, a big moment here for Australia today, because one of their great hopes in the boys' tricks, Fletcher Green, coming in. I mean, we've had some pretty exciting skiing from the Aussies to date, but Fletch, I think, is the one who has a real shot at getting himself onto the boys' trick podium and potentially finishing on top. The young man out of Western Australia.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the earlier guys probably potential of getting up around 5,000. We're looking at we're looking at 8,000 point. Tricker potentially here in Fletcher Green. So it starts with a back-to-back, or 2 back-to-back mobs. Flip with a back landing now, pops to the front, smoothly going along. There's a reverse flip with the back landing. There's a front flip, lands a little bit heavy, but gets away with it. Nice reverse though. Ski line back now, stays in the back position. Ski line back-to-back, caught on the top of the wake. Bad luck there for Fletcher Green. Looking
just 1
good.
or 2 more tricks is all he really needed, you know, because looking at the calibre of skiers still to come, for Fletch to find himself on that podium, potentially up in those sort of top 2 positions, he needs absolutely everything on the water. It was a beautiful start of the run. He's an amazing flipper, this young man. Of course, you couldn't really get a much higher sequence of 6 flips. 800 points each on the mob, 750 each on these back landings, and then these front flips to finish. A little bit of a bobble, like you said on the first one. This reverse front flip, though, a thing of beauty. He landed it, transitioned right into his ski lines, and just got a little tangled up there on the... Probably only had to that ski line back-to-back.
Yeah, well, Curtis, if you think of those, that Francisco Georges finished with the 3 ski lines we spoke about and solid flips, and we saw what Fletcher just started with. Well, he was going into ski line back-to-back. Hopefully that would have been followed by ski line front to front. So you're really seeing it like a similar type of run, and very
slightly better flips though,
yeah,
higher scoring flips from Fletch.
Yeah, so
that's his real talent, of course.
So that extra ski line, I'm saying maybe potentially he's dropped 2 ski lines, so a little bit disappointing there, but still he's a solid toe tricker as well. So good looking hand pass, and hopefully he can back it up with something special on pass number 2.
Yeah, very impressed with that. The way he landed that reverse front flip, that was like you see from the very best pros out there on the water, because he was able to transition seamlessly into his next couple tricks. So it was such a shame. Hand pass, every point matters a lot. Making your way onto the podium.
And I guess it's fair to say that Lenny showed a lot of maturity, kept his head, didn't panic, didn't rush, and then front flip, as you mentioned. So we still don't, we're thinking BG Bickley, we have a score which is probably his first pass. So we're still waiting on his total score to come through, which we now have. 6,450 points. And, well, a leader as far as the scores being posted, but we think that Francisco Georges and then hopefully Fletcher Green will surpass that score.
Okay, here we go. The young Aussie, Fletcher Green, coming in after a strong hand pass where he just fell towards the end. He's coming in rope on toe and looking for a full stand-up 20-second pass is the young Western Australian. Starts well here as he goes outside the wake, the toe wake, back to back. And now he just moves through some surface turns, getting into a good rhythm as he wraps in and out of the line. The arms are flailing around. He's perhaps lost a touch of time. Needs to finish strong. Here is Fletcher Green. Toe lino. These are big tricks here. The best toe pass we've seen, I think, all day. Certainly in terms of the caliber of tricks. And good work there from Fletch, finishing strong on toes.
Yeah, a couple of toe lines at the end, which we'll just have a look at now on replay. Hopefully getting credit for the toe lines at the end, and of course the earlier weight tricks and surface turns in toe. He's put together a pretty good score, but we have a score for Francisco Georges of 8,130 as we're watching Fletcher there on replay with that toe 5 to the front. Toe-o, the toe-o wrapping back into the line. Toe weight 360 now. Toe line 360. Toe line back there. Toe weight to the front.
Yeah, look, I'll admit I'm watching on a jumbotron on the other side of the river, and it's quite far away, but that'll look pretty good to me. He lost a little bit of time through some of the toe wrapping tricks. He's sort of flailing around, but he just kept moving through those tricks, and yeah, it's going to be tight to see whether or not he's able to challenge a lead of 8,000 points from Francisco Georges, but a good way to finish from the Aussie.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, Curtis. When I was looking at the first toe line back, I think it was, or not the foot, like the toe line back from the side, and I wasn't quite sure about the wake, but then when we saw the front view, everything looked pretty good. Because we're not the judges, we're just making some sort of a, if we may say, informed comment, but of course we have our expert panel of world-level judges that are adjudicating on all of our skiers, and they certainly do a great job. Score from Francisco Georges of 8,130. I don't know if it'd be interesting to see Fletcher Green's score when it comes out.
Yeah, will those last couple tricks in his hand pass could have proved to be crucial? You have a feeling they may be.
I've got a feeling they may be.
He's a guy I don't know, but he looks like he has a personal best up around 9,000 points, and he's probably lost close to 1,000 at the back end of that hand pass. So, but keeps him right in the mix. In a similar spot, we think, to Francisco Georges. And of course, in the lead right now of the scores we have through is the Argentinian Francisco Georges. But looking to challenge that is his compatriot, another Argentinian. Coming into course now from the Swan Street Bridge end. Looks to be opening up rope on toe. Beautiful line control through that toe 720. It's a great start to his pass. The full toe wake back-to-back and reverse. This is quick. He's very efficient wrapping it out of the line. This is the big toe pass here from the Argentinian. The toe line O. Line 540. Huge toe pass here from Bautista Ahumada. And the intensity level has just lifted on the water.
Oh, huge as it were, because a toe line 5 and then backed it up with a toe line back-to-back. Some big toe line points there on this toe pass, and fitted plenty of tricks in because so fast and, as you mentioned, efficient in the early stages of this run. So the toe wrapping in and in the toe way go. Toe lino, toe line to the back quickly pops to the front. Toe line 5, very neat.
from Bautista
just strung out a little bit, but good work from the release person on that toe line back-to-back. As I mentioned, strung out a little bit. No problems there, no danger, and hung onto the line and stands up. That toe line back-to-back and a good stand-up 20-second pass.
Yeah, the intensity's just lifted here on the Yarra River. We're into some of the real rock stars on the water. And this young man, Rob, I'm a big fan of water skiing. I follow scores and events around the world, watch a lot of webcasts. And I think of him primarily as a slalom ski. He's very strong on the slalom ski. We'll see him, of course, in the slalom event later on, sort of mid-morning, afternoon. But I've been very impressed with what I've seen on that opening toe pass. There was an incredible toe pass from him to start things off.
It was. And look, that toe line 5, that's one of the most difficult tricks there is, and he just executed it to perfection.
I thought he was coming in for sort of a toe wake back. Incredible stuff. Toe line 5's already at 9 a.m. in the morning. What a way to start the day.
What a way to start the weekend.
It's like having Red Bull with your Cocoa Pops or something.
I somehow like that analogy. The Red Bull with the Cocoa Pops. Well, really look at that toe pass. Makes you wonder what he's got in store for in the hand pass.
Yep, you'd expect something big indeed from the Argentinian, coming in now from the city end.
Okay, handle in hand. Positional back now. Full twisting back to back. Stays in that back position. That's a back to front flip now. Flip with a back landing. A basic flip now. Oh, gee, I missed that one. Starting the back, I think that was the back to front flip.
Yeah.
Ski line O at the end.
Interesting finish there because he's balked out of a trick. He did a wake jump in the middle of that pass. So I don't know if he just wasn't feeling in a good rhythm out there or if he came into the wake and felt out of balance. But he's dropped some points there. I think still he's going to sneak into the lead.
Twisting back to back, stays in that back position. That's a back to front flip now. Flip with a back landing. A basic flip now. Starting the back, I think that was the back to front flip. Yeah, ski line O at the end.
Interesting finish there because he's balked out of a trick. He did a wake jump in the middle of that.
All right, so as we've just seen on replay, so something we missed is he might have gone past. So there's some tents that obscure our view, and between a couple of flags and a few different things. But look, he ended up finishing with a ski line 5 to the front, which was awesome. I don't know, Curtis, if you want to have a look at this replay.
He's got all the tricks, doesn't he, this young man? He's got the run to be a plus 10,000 point tricker for sure. But that was a little strange there. The wake jump, middle of the pass, wake 540, and geez, what a big finish, like you said.
And then in the back position now, the ski line 5, so throwing in some big tricks there towards the end.
Finished very strong. Just wonder if there's a time concern towards the end of that pass with that ski line 5. That could be pretty pivotal, but I think he's taken the lead. I'm getting unconfirmed reports that Fletcher Green's score has slipped him just about 100 points ahead of Francisco Georges, but we'll wait until we get some confirmation on that. Okay, so 2 skiers left, Rob, and this is a real treat because not only are these the 2 best junior trick skiers in the world, they are 2 of the best of any age in the world. Two skiers who have tricked in excess of 12,500 points. It's incredible stuff. The next skier out of Chile, Matias Gonzalez, is a multiple-time events in 2024, and of course the top seed Jake Abelson we'll talk a lot more about as the reigning world champion. But these are 2 of the favorites to take out the professional title, battling it out here in the juniors. as Matias Gonzalez comes into course from Chile.
Yeah, of course, when he made his debut a couple of years ago, I started calling him Speedy Gonzalez here at MOOMBA. Opens with that 7, there's the 5, the toe-ache back-backs and the reverse. He moves so quick and he's fallen. Well, that's an uncharacteristic fall there for Matias Gonzalez. I can hardly believe what I'm seeing because so often we've seen him so solid and fast on those toe tricks and obviously very disappointed. So we have at the moment Francisco Georges with a score of 8,130, but wait for it, Australia, Fletcher Green with a score of 8,290 points, our new leader. And of course, expecting the next 2 skiers to score in excess of 10,000 points. And of course, drama building because Matias Gonzalez falling on probably trick number 5.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a pathway back. He's a very strong hand tricker, and he can probably still post a score up around 8,000 points if he gets everything out of his hand pass, maybe even 9,000 points, because he can trick up around 7,000 points on one pass alone, this young man. But in terms of fending off Jake Abelson for the first place in this 2 rounds out of the format, it's going to be a very tall order. Of course, as we move past high tide and it is starting to run out, we do have quite a strong current starting to build. It's always tough out there on the Yarra River, but huge upset, Matias Gonzalez going down early on toes.
Yeah, well, what sort of would he trick maybe, would he have gotten the 2,000 on that first pass, possibly?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, you got to think the big toe lines he has at the end of the pass. 1,500 points or so.
5, the toe-ache back-backs. Might have got around.
He's probably pushed up close to 2,000 points. And he can trick, if he does his full hand pass, he can do a hand pass up around 7,000 points. So he could certainly still take the lead in this event. But in terms of the head-to-head battle between him and Jake Abelson on the dock, he's got a mountain to climb.
He's given a bit away there, no doubt about it.
It's such a shame because Matias Gonzalez is one of the best toe trickers in the world. But one of the best toe trickers actually our sport has ever seen, full stop. Yeah. And it's a shame we missed out on seeing most of that pass. Of course, we will get to see him trick quite a few more times this week. He'll be, of course, in the second round of junior tricks. He'll be in the men's tricks, the open men's tricks. Yeah. And you'd assume the men's trick final come Monday. So we get to see a lot more of him is the good news.
But of course, obviously disappointed with that slap of the water, which we often see with skiers when they fall earlier than expected, and a real shame for him. But so positional trick, and he's coming in on his, so he'll be popping to the back shortly. I would imagine that would be the positional trick, and then he'll start unloading with this hand pass.
Yep. So just under 2,000 points on that early exit on toes. Got a mountain to climb, does the young Chilean, as he starts now into his flips, the full twisting back-to-backs. He comes in now for the half jack, the front flip with the half twist, moving through some rapid-fire back landings. This is good here, a big front flip now. He starts to throw his body over the line, ski line 360. Ski line back-to-back. This is good work here from Matias. He's got maybe one more trick before the buzzer, and it's a good hand pass. Hand pass going to be up over 6,000 points, you'd think. And that means he's going to end up really with a similar score to what we saw from Fletcher Green and Francisco Georges. Incredible stuff, considering he fell probably a third of the way through his opening toe pass.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see his score when it comes through. But of course, at the moment, we have Fletcher Green sitting on 8,290 in the lead, and pretty keen to get a score through for Matias Gonzalez.
This is good here, a big front flip now. He starts to throw his body over the line. Ski line 360. Back-to-back. This is masterclass out there on the water from young Matias Gonzalez of Chile. And it's a beautiful hand pass. Of course, he's coming out of Chilean summer. Been doing a lot of training back there in Chile. And he'll be in fairly good form, you imagine, and he'll build throughout the weekend. One of the favorites to take out the men's tricks later in the week has just left the door ajar for our top seed and reigning world record holder about to take to the water.
Yes, and of course, the junior format, well, it's 2 rounds added together. He gives Matias gives a bit away to Jake Abelson. Fall, but it does happen because Trix is very cut. You've really got to be on your game not to fall, and if you do, of course, well, you've got 2 20-second passes, and if you fall in either one of them, that is, or if you fall in one of them, well, that's where the time stops. They don't pick you up and let you continue on. It's 2 20-second trick passes, and if you fall, well, that's very costly, which we did see in the case of Matias Gonzalez. And then just mentioning the format of 2 rounds added together to take out the title in the open event over the weekend. It's a heats and final situation, so the top seeds will go through to the final. So it's pretty cutthroat. We'll cut a number of skiers. Then we go to the finals on Monday to decide the event. So pretty cutthroat format for all trick slalom and jump to decide who will be the MOOMBA Masters champion for 2025.
Okay. Scoring trick skier in the history of our sport, young Jake Abelson out of the United States of America, coming into the course for the first star in the world of trick skiing. And rope on toe. Of course, skis for the United States of America, but has both Canadian and Mexican heritage, so a real international flavor as he moves through this opening toe pass. Does Jake Abelson, lightning quick toe wrapping. It's like a sped up tape out there as he goes outside the wake, starts throwing himself over the line. Toe line O comes in now for the big toe line 540. It's clean. He'll have a couple toe step back-to-backs to finish. There's a big toe pass here. Stand up. Job done from Jake Abelson.
Yeah, good-looking toe pass there, and we'll just see it on the replay. Some high-scoring toe line 5s towards the end.
Toe pass does Jake Abelson.
5 to the front now, very quick. The 2 360s now, the toe wake 360.
Outside the wake, starts throwing himself over the line.
Toe line O now, the toe line back, pops to the front quickly, very efficient. Toe line 5 there, stays in the back position. Toe line back-to-back, toe line back-to-back reverse. And just a little toe wake front to finish there to sneak, hopefully, from his point of view, inside that 20 seconds and pick up those last few points. And now, hopefully, he'll back it up with a big scoring hand pass. Jake Abelson.
Yeah, look, couple scores come through while we've watched these passes. We have a new leader, as expected, Bautista Ahumada of Argentina, just shy of 10,000 points, 9,690. And score coming through just a touch slower than I expected, actually, for Matias Gonzalez. I don't know if he must have lost something to time, perhaps, at the end of his handle pass. And he's going to end up just a shade under 8,000 points at 7,670. Jake Abelson, he is on pace to well and truly take the lead. He's a strong toe tricker, but hands, that's his real strength. He's an incredible hand tricker. He flips faster than, well, just about anyone.
At the speed of light.
At the speed of light, basically. And he has some serious line control once he starts throwing some big tricks, some of his ski lines, or potentially, I don't know if we'll be pulling it out here early in the season, but he wowed fans with a Wake 7 front to front at several events last year.
Yeah, when we were discussing Matias's opening pass, I did see a score for his first pass. It was a couple of hundred below that 2,000, around, I think, 1860 was his first pass, so obviously it was pretty costly. And this trick, the trick event, both girls and boys, has gone pretty quickly this morning. We're one more trick pass to go, and then we're moving into slalom, so it's rolling along.
They schedule it down to the
quickly.
minute here. They were scheduled to finish tricks at 9:27, and if you look at your watch, it is bang on there. So once again, getting it down to the second. And this is a treat to watch, folks. Make your way down to the river. Watch Jake Abelson come and moving through his flips. big front flips here. Stomping them out is the American. And the reverse. He finishes with a back landing and a back to front flip. This is huge as he throws himself over the line. Ski line 540s are good. A ski line 360. What a run there. And he tries that wake 7 front to front right at the end of time. Not his best attempt, and was potentially running up against the buzzer, but I have no doubt in my mind, Rob Wing, that we have a new leader in the boys' tricks.
Yeah, and Curtis, I think the buzzer was in the back of his mind there. He was probably thinking it's 19.9 seconds. I'm going to have to throw this this front to front 7, and just probably rushed it a little and didn't get the lift off the wake that he needed. But now we're seeing the replay here and into those ski lines. Ski line back to back now, and that pretty last rush trick that was right on the bell. So well done though, Jake Abelson. A stand-up pass on the way down, and a near stand-up pass to back it up, and probably a 10,000 point plus score.
I think 11,000 points plus there from Jake. That was great tricking to start things off in the boys' tricks in the box C, of course, in the 2-round added together format to take out the boys' trick title. You'd have to say. We are going to have a brief break in the skiing action while we put in the slalom course, and we'll be underway with the girls' slalom. Super exciting stuff.
Absolutely, and of course the course guys are working to perfection as usual, and we'll be on the water with the girls' slalom, followed by the boys, and of course a full format today: jump, wakeboard, ski show, you name it. We have it right here at the MOOMBA Masters 2025.
Yeah, so just 10 minutes, we'll be back underway with the girls' slalom. Maybe head out back, get yourself a coffee, and join us back here on the banks of the Yarra River in just a